another time we fare.
Take the time in the tent with me and the kids. And the feed. I'm at it again.
Nice intro.
Thank you. Welcome in, everyone. I'm so grateful to have you here today. We have a special guest, and everyone knows David from Come On Homestead because he has a wonderful channel, and I'm sure most of you watch it. And I am going to start this off by asking David to introduce himself, tell a little bit about himself and how he got his channel started before we go into the deeper dive into childhood memories.
We go in deeper.
Deeper.
I started my channel about 4 years ago. I had a few people that I knew that told me quite a few times I should start a channel just because I got a wide range of skill sets, jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah.
And then personality and stuff like that. And then after my divorce, I was moved out to the raw land and was going to build a homestead there in Florida. And I was out there talking to myself, so I figured I'd talk to a camera and see how it goes. And 4 years later, I'm in another state on top of a mountain and still doing it and loving it.
Awesome. And you recently had a video that just blew up, didn't you?
Yeah. It was I don't know, I turned the camera on and I talked and a lot came out apparently.
Well, congratulations. If you haven't seen his channel, make sure you go over to Come On Homesteading and check out his videos because he has some really great ones. He's bought an abandoned cabin up there on Magazine Mountain. Is that correct?
No, it's by Mount Magazine.
By Mount
Magazine. Yeah.
So,
I wish they'd let me live on Mount Magazine, but it's protected.
It's protected. Well, it's beautiful up there, and he has done a ton of work and has a great homesteading channel and other property as well.
Yeah, just added a couple of new ones this past year.
So what's your plans? Tell everyone about your plans with your new property and what you'd like to see up there on the mountain.
The new property, the one that's closer to town, it's really gonna be more of kind of like my HQ, my headquarters for the channel. It's a little bit closer to town. I can get electric there and fiber and water and all of that. So it already has a shop on it and a little barn. So I'm gonna put a little tiny house there and kind of have it as a Airbnb / little satellite office, just in case Starlink's taking a little too long for me to stay on schedule because I have a pretty extreme posting schedule. And then I'm going to turn the other 3.5 acres on it to a little RV park because I'm situated right in between Mount Magazine and Blue Mountain Lake here, which is pretty nice areas that people like to visit.
Well, that'll be awesome.
And then as far as Come On Mountain, it's the never-ending project. There's a ton of them.
It's beautiful. I don't know how you deal with the road all the time. I used to live in a place that was similar to a road like that.
Well, it makes you want to stay on your mountain, so there's nothing wrong with that.
That's true. Keeps people from coming on your mountain too, huh?
Yeah, nobody walks down my road. If somebody walks down my road, it's intentional. I'm pretty far back here. I kind of like it. Everybody says it's magic when they come here because you feel like you're in your own world because it's just there's no noise pollution, no sound pollution, no light pollution, no nothing. It's just up the goat trail. I think you hear banjos play when you go through the creek, but it's back here.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I kind of wish I could go further back, but that's state land too. So I'm as far back as I can get here.
Yeah. let's stop and pause a minute and go through some of these chats and see who's all in here. I know there's 179 of you right now, so I'm not gonna be reading them all, but welcome Jan and Jennifer and Robin from Garden State So-and-so, Jennifer Ocean Homestead, and Simply Jan Homestead. We have
My
Kathleen.
Alabama farm life. I ain't seen her in a while. Hello.
Yeah, Kathleen. Let's see, who else do we have in here? Debbie Short, Heather from Milk and Honey Heritage Farm, Karen. Welcome in, Karen. It's good to see you. We have...
I recognize most of the names, but there's a few I don't.
Yeah. Rose, welcome in. Lori, welcome in. Liam, welcome. Jean, Melissa, Gary Ball, welcome Gary Ball, Coach Jim. Some of these are probably your viewers.
A couple of them.
Yep. Pettit, Jean, River Homestead.
Yeah,
Beachy.
he lives right down the road from me.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, welcome in. Melissa, Carolyn, Bob. Hi, Bob. How are you? Rhonda, welcome. Our Flippin' Home Farmstead, welcome.
Formerly known as Hat Creek Homestead.
And Fallon, welcome in, hon. That's my daughter-in-law.
Hello, daughter-in-law.
Wesley, welcome. Hi, Des, Crazy Life. Trina. Hi, Ivanka, our Kentucky home. Lynn, Okie Dokie, Southern Magnolia. Susan Leppin. And we have Jeannie and Selena and Cheryl. Welcome in. I think that's it. So that's all that's commented. But on Felix from Denmark. Anyway, welcome. We love you and thank you for coming in. And I am so grateful to have David from Come On Homestead today. He is here going to talk about what it was like growing up in another time, and because things are so different today, aren't they, David?
Yeah, a little bit. You can say that for sure.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you feel comfortable telling us about your childhood to start off with?
I don't remember a lot of it. I've blacked out a lot of my childhood, but we'll talk about the keep it more in line with like the farming and stuff like that,
Yeah.
the type of stuff, kind of what I do now.
Yeah.
Back then, kind of where I got my first taste of this life, I should say. Growing up, we always had some kind of garden or farm. We was in Tampa, and we had about 1.5 acres, I think, there in Tampa, and I believe about 1/4 of it at least was always a garden, a big old garden that we always worked by hand. Me and my brothers, pretty much summers from daylight to dark, we was outside, wasn't allowed to come in. Eat outside, bologna sandwiches, drinking
Those were the
water out the
days.
faucet, like, and had chore lists, racked up first thing in the morning, taking care of all the animals and stuff. We grew up working hard, for sure. That's kind of where I got my work ethic from. And, we did have some fun too, here and there. And we also made fun out of work. And I think that's why now, whenever I work as an adult, I always make it fun. I don't believe work's got to be some miserable thing. I think you can have fun working and enjoy your accomplishments. I mean, we used to have rutabaga fights and stuff in the garden, throwing rutabagas across aisles at each other, hiding in the corn and all that kind of stuff, and making goulash out of all this stuff, and just kind of wandering the woods and stuff like that. So it's kind of when I was young, that's what we did, and taking care of the animals. I can remember getting about that much water in each of the 5-gallon buckets and having two to weigh myself out because I was so little, going back feeding the animals, taking multiple trips because the water hose wouldn't reach back there. And then
Yeah.
later on, when I got into middle school, I got into like the 4-H hog cam programs, and I raised steers to show and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where I learned all of my processing skills and stuff like that for hunting or for farm animals. What else you got?
What else do I have? What
That
was
takes you all the way to middle school.
You got me all the way to middle school. What were some of the things that you did outside of the farm?
I was very active in sports. I played baseball from T-ball all the way until I was about 16 when I broke both my wrists, and I quit playing. I was always the starting pitcher. I pitched the whole time. My brother was on the same team with me for a while as catcher. I ran track, played basketball, football. I was decent. I wasn't the greatest in the world, but I was decent at pretty much all the sports that I played. And that was it. Sports and work, really, and hanging out with friends. And then until I got to middle school years, then I got a little wild. So I got in a little bit of trouble. A little bit. I was running a little wild.
How'd you get in trouble? I mean, were you just skipping school?
Uh,
Bad stuff?
some of it. Some of it. Some of it.
Yeah.
I moved out like right after I was 15 years old. So I mean, yeah, I would say some of it was bad, but really just kid stuff, riding around, getting into mischief and stuff like that, and chasing the ladies,
Chasing the
all of that stuff.
taking a baseball bat and bashing mailboxes. That's what my kids did one time.
No, I never messed with anybody's mailbox. Out where I was from, if you mess with somebody's mailbox, you might have
I
got
know,
shot.
I know.
So yeah,
They're lucky. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
So excuse me. Did you like to fish or hunt when you were a kid?
yeah. Not a lot. I mean, my dad never really took me. I don't think he ever took me hunting, and I learned to shoot the pew-pews here or there with different people. Fishing went a little bit, but it wasn't something that we did a lot of. I mean, we worked a lot, so taking care of the animals and the farm and stuff like that. I really didn't get into all of that stuff until later in the years, especially hunting. We did a lot of hog hunting there in Florida when I was probably in my mid 20s. Is kind of when I first started really hunting, and I didn't deer hunt until I was like 30. Honestly, it was hard for me to sit still, so it was sit in a stand and hope something walks by me just didn't make sense to me for a long time. And so I enjoyed like hog hunting where you're out on 4-wheelers in the swamp and having hog dogs and all of that. That was a little bit more action packed for me, and the dogs found the hogs, so it kind of worked out. And but deer hunting and all the hunting to sit down and wait on, I didn't really get into until honestly probably about 8 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Not too long.
So when was your first outside of the house job where you worked outside of the house?
Well, when I was 13, I think I worked for a nursery um, over the summer for $1 an hour because I was going to work at home or work there. At least I got out the house, and my brothers worked there, so I got paid $1 an hour, and I didn't even get paid cash. I got paid in plants because she couldn't afford to pay me. So I'd work like 40 hours that week, and I'd get $40 worth of plants, and then I would go home and hoping that I'd get something from the house. And my dad would tell me, "Did you eat last night? You're paid. Go plant them over there." So, but
Oh,
it was really something just to kind of get out the house. And then I worked all the fields. I did watermelons, zucchini, squash, eggplants, tomatoes, peanuts. I mean, everything in the South you could think of, I've picked and loaded. I used to load watermelon trucks during the day in the summer, especially after I moved out on my own whenever I was a little over 15. I would load watermelon trucks in the field all day, and then at night I would load the semis to just make extra money. And then
Wow.
I also worked building pallets around that time too at night shift, sitting there at a sawmill, and we made pallets for shipping. And I was the one that actually made the pallets with the jig. I used to be able to make a nail gun sing to you. So
That's
I,
awesome.
quite a few, plus cooked at a restaurant that years later I ended up owning,
Oh,
and
wow.
uh, and washed dishes there and all
What
of
kind of food
that.
was
Well, it was seafood then, but whenever I opened it back up, it was a sports bar. It
Oh,
was
wow.
Strike's Own Family Sports Pub and Grill. Our
That's
slogan was "We sling chicken wings. Come on."
you just sling you just sling a lot of chicken wings?
We slung a lot of chicken wings, a lot of chicken. The waitresses used to have to answer the phone. Thank you for calling Strike Zone. We sling chicken wings. Come on. They hated it. Hated it. So come on isn't something that just came from YouTube. I've been saying it my whole life. So
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask. That's awesome. Um, when you look at the kids today and the kids when of your generation when you were growing up, what do you see the difference being?
work ethic,
Work ethic?
work ethic, and imagination. I would say two of the big ones. Um, we didn't have much growing up, and a lot of kids didn't, um, especially in the rural America. So you didn't have all the technology and all the things and all the new greatest things, So you had to use your imagination to have fun when you did get a break. I mean, I can remember being up underneath our trailer with the little green army men and literally having a whole battlefield up underneath there to get away from the Florida sun, and just being creative with that, and also having to make a lot of things, forts and that kind of stuff. I remember when my kids were a teenager, I bought everybody in the house mountain bikes and stuff to go biking and stuff. My bike was like my escape, that allowed me to get away and all that other stuff. I couldn't pay my kids to get on the bike. It was like they didn't want nothing to do with it,
That's really, yeah,
So
yeah,
for me, I'd say that's the big difference. Technology has definitely changed the world in positive ways, but also I think it's also set the world back quite a bit as well.
yeah. It really has. Uh, it there's just this lack of not wanting to go beyond in
Yeah,
anything. It's not just work, though. I mean, it's just they're satisfied. They're just content. They're um, resting on their laurels, so to speak. A lot
yeah,
of a lot of the youth today, and that's not a good thing because I was taught you never rest on your laurels.
yeah, yeah. I always tried to learn as much as I could about as many things as I could to make myself as much marketable as possible. That way, no matter what situation I was in, what area I was in, I could always,
Yeah,
survive one way or the other. There's still
exactly.
some kids out there that, do really
Mhm.
well and stuff, and I know quite a few of them. I mentored kids for a big portion of my life, and I kind of want that to be my legacy is me kind of helping kids, as a strong male role model for them and stuff. I truly believe in, my dad used to tell me, do as I say, not as I do, and I never understood that. Made no sense to me, hated it. You know what I mean? So I do the exact opposite. I try to, practice what I preach, you know.
Exactly. That's integrity,
Yeah.
when you're living what you say.
Yeah.
You have integrity.
Yeah. And even up here, I'm like, oh, come on to so many kids. I love it. It helps with me being away from my grandkids and kids and stuff like that to have all the kids in this community and stuff. And, I love every single one of them, and I try to be there for them and all that. And it really helps because I've surrounded myself with kids, my whole adult life, trying to help them out and, just kind of guide them in a good path instead of a bad one, that type of thing. Because I didn't really have that guidance. Like I said, when I was younger, I got in a little bit of trouble here and there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we all did. I think we all
Uh,
did, because from my generation, a couple of generations before you, because I mean, you're probably my son's age. And I, we just had so much freedom
Yeah.
we had so much freedom, and we weren't ever in the house. And so, but we also had values and morals, even at a very young age, because we were
Yeah.
taught very young. So it was a lot different. School was a lot different. Like
Yeah.
my favorite thing is always remembering the pickup trucks in high school, and everybody had their hunting pew in the back window, and
Yeah.
and I was like, it's just crazy.
Not anymore, and for good reason as
Good
well.
reason
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
absolutely.
and
Yeah, it's definitely different. And I remember too, you didn't have to be home until dark if you was at your friend's house and stuff like that. You could just pretty much run the streets. There was no cell phones. There was no way to check in or nothing like that. It was just trust,
what do you
right?
think about that? They were like, oh my gosh, you were just gone for hours, and yeah, just knew what
Yeah,
time to be home. Or you go in a shopping center. They used to call them shopping centers or malls, but you just met up at a certain time.
yeah, yeah. If you
So
seen bikes in the front yard, they was home. Yeah, it was definitely a different time back then.
yeah, really, it really was a different time. Um, so what are some of your plans, or how have you incorporated a lot of your plans from your growing up in your past?
Uh, I mean, it's very similar to the way I grew up now because I work all the time and I'm got all kinds of chores to do and stuff like that. I honestly never thought that I would kind of circle back to this life. I kind of went through all the stages. I grew up country and taking care of gardens and animals and stuff like that. Then I went through my little hip hop stage and then my little rock stage and then my little raver stage and then but as I got older, I started leaning back towards the countryside. I did the corporate America thing for a while and all of that. And the more I was in the rat race and how everything's changed,
Yeah,
um, the more I kind of wanted to escape to the country, if that makes sense.
yeah.
And I've been dreaming about having a cabin in the mountains. My mom told me since I was like 8 years old. And I've always said I wanted to retire in a cabin in the mountains when I got done with corporate America. And when I was in Dallas, after I moved from Florida, that's kind of how I ended up here. I said, you've always dreamed of it and talked about it and everything else. At what point do you just go do it? I don't want to be the one that says, I've always dreamed of doing that. I want to be the one that says, I did that, you know? And, I was in my 40s and I was like, it's a hard life to get established to. And if I'm going to get all of that done in time before my body won't allow me to do it like that, then I need to start it, And so I just took the plunge and went for it. And now it's very similar to the way that I grew up with the animals and stuff. That's where I learned a lot of the stuff that I know now. And I love it now. I mean, back then it was a chore. Now it's a labor of love, really. I love the animals. The Everybody thinks I'm alone here on the mountain, but when you got all these animals here, I mean, you got a million personalities. It's
You
always
really do.
fun.
People don't realize that, huh?
Nah,
You just even
my
the
animals
chickens.
are my friends.
Yeah, even the chickens, they each have their own personality, and you can just sit and watch them and know that they're a lot smarter than people give them credit for.
Uh, that's why I like goats so much because they have tons of personality.
Yeah, goats do.
Yeah, they're true.
Goats do.
But
Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of how I've incorporated that to this and that, and also doing like the hog ham programs and 4-H and FFA and stuff. The hog ham program is a program that I was in where you raise a hog from a little hog and then take it all the way to the slaughterhouse and then learn all the prime cuts and how to make sausage and sugar cure ham and
yeah,
all of that stuff. And some of the stuff that I seen growing up in some of those slaughterhouses and stuff, you would think differently about what's on the shelves if you knew behind the scenes of a lot of stuff. And I've seen quite a bit in a few of the industries that I've worked with. And so to be able to raise my own animals and know that they're happy and healthy and what's in them and all of that up until all up until that, and then know that I was part of it from the beginning to the end, and then learning the skills then to be able to process it and it all kind of stay on the property, just kind of eat cleaner. I know that's the big saying now, eat cleaner, but my version of eat cleaner is raise it and grow it, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. That's a lot cleaner anyway, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we are just really fortunate when you have animals and raise your own meat and because some of
Oh,
the slaughter.
Coach Jim there's been eating clean. He's swole up from the floor up, ain't he? I see you, Coach Jim.
Yeah. But what are your future plans for farming? I mean, at least the animals. And I've heard you speak of having cattle up there.
Yeah, I want to get Highland cows eventually. I've got to get a horse for my granddaughter. I promised her. So once I get the pasture ready for the cows, I'll also get a horse at some point. And I'm sure when my youngest granddaughter gets a little bit older, all of a sudden she's going to be like, Papa, I need a horse. So I'm sure there'll be 2 horses at least. And I would like to get a haired sheep at some point because I love lamb. Um, and a llama or something like that to protect the sheep. I want something different. I like personalities and just, cool things to look at. And also some donkeys for the horses and cows and stuff like that. Pigs is something I'm definitely going the Kuni route here very soon and registered at that. I will end up rehoming the goats or processing or whatever it takes. It depends on how it goes because I've decided here recently that I'm going to do all register stuff here on the mountain because if I'm feeding it and all of that, then I might as well get the registered so I can get the most bang out of the buck for it. Because with me up here by myself, I don't need a lot of meat.
Yeah.
Like one hog or whatever. A cow will last me like 2 years. So I have to do something with all the offspring and stuff like that. So I might as well try to make it a residual income for me. So.
Well, that's awesome. Let's
And
take it.
turkeys.
And turkeys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like turkeys. They strut around. Like I said, it's got a lot to do with personalities and stuff like that with the animals. I enjoy seeing all their individual personalities and the liveliness of the homestead that it happens.
I'm going to take a quick break here and go back and check some of the chats so we don't miss anybody here. And I know there's been a lot more come in. Carolyn, welcome in. I don't know if I said hi to Carolyn, and I'm just going to go from Brian. Welcome. Des, Jeannie. I think I already said hi to you. Southern Magnolia, welcome in. Melody is to bless, welcome in. Rudy, welcome in.
Coach Jim, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I did end up setting it up to stream to my channel as well. So I'm over here on my channel looking now.
That's awesome. He said, I love his genuine personality and his kind heart. Yeah, that really does come across on your channel. Your personality.
I appreciate that.
So,
I just try to keep it real. Honestly, I'm a pretty even kill person. I don't get too high and I don't get too low. I try to stay. My nephew, Mike, he tells me I'm not normal. he said, he says, I never see you blow up, Uncle. He's like, everything around you could be breaking and you're still the same person. I'm like, stress has never fixed a problem ever. Never one problem in the world has stress ever fixed. So
He's
yeah.
so funny because what's he basing that off of? Just the that you don't blow up?
No, it's just I'm a very even kill person. I have been for a very, very, very long time. I
Very
don't get too high, I don't get too low. There's a positive and a negative to that because, like Mike, I call him my extra extrovert. Like he's extra.
he
I
is an
love him to death. He's the type that'll kick in the door and be like, "Hey, everybody." I'm the type that'll walk in and kind of stay into the back room until somebody talks to me and I get comfortable, and then I can kind of. But when we're out doing things and some people get really excited about the things they do, I can't do that. Like
yeah.
I'll have fun and all of that, but I won't be able to express it like they express it. And the same thing with being low. So it has its pros and cons. But it works real good whenever you work on a homestead like this and everything, happens and derails you and breaks and all of that other stuff. Having a good even demeanor, in my opinion, works well for this lifestyle because if you got mad at everything that went wrong, you'd be mad all day.
Oh
you know.
yeah. In fact, I'm just yesterday or the day before yesterday, I was telling Jan, I said, "You're not going to believe what happened. I went out to feed the chickens, and as I went out to feed the chickens, one of my four of my Great Pyrenees nudged into the chicken coop with his nose and got in there, started chasing every chicken around because he thought it would be fun. And then the door was wide open. The other four were coming in and chickens were escaping. And in the midst of me trying to get the dogs out because the ground had just thawed, I slipped and fell face first in the muddy chicken poo ground, which was probably a good thing. It saved any bones from being broken. But yeah, and so I walked back to the house, and my husband's like, "What happened to you?" I was covered in chicken poo and mud all the way. So those things happen. They happen a lot.
Oh, just last week when we had all that ice, I literally walked out the tiny house first thing in the morning, like first time outside. Ice covered the whole steps in front of me right there. Didn't even think about it. Walked out and just feet out from up underneath me. Boom, right on the ground. First thing in the
Oh,
morning. That
oh,
was the way I started my day, and I just sat there for a minute, and I was just like, "It's gonna be one
oh.
of those, huh?" All right, let's go after it.
I've done that before, but I hate that for anybody. I really do. Well, welcome in Texas Grammy. And there was
Hello.
something else I saw.
For the
Midnight.
people that's on my channel that might be confused by this, like I'm actually being interviewed. We're streaming from her channel, but it's also cross streaming to
Hi,
mine as well.
Linda. Welcome to my channel. Another time. David is my guest tonight, and I really appreciate him coming on. And I appreciate all of you that are here tonight. I truly do. I can't keep up with all the comments because I'm old and technology is just not my thing. So I try, but
I got your back. Let's go.
thank you. Thank you. Well, come on. Well, I have watched David's channel since he bought the cabin, and he nearly froze to death in the cabin because he didn't have any heat
Or
and
insulation.
or insulation. Yeah, I felt for you, and glad everything turned out well, and you got propane and heat and everything else. But boy, that
It's
couldn't have
been
been.
a journey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I tell you what, though, the best way for a Florida boy to go up north or norther, more north, this really isn't north, is go ahead and go off grid for a little while and take a shower out there for 2 winters and use the bathroom outside. I guarantee you, after you're done, when it gets cold and you actually got clothes that you can put on and stuff like that, it's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not.
I've acclimated very well to Arkansas weather.
Yeah, it It's something. It's something. It's not a whole lot different in Kentucky. You guys get a little hotter, I think.
It
But
gets hot here. That was one of the things that shocked me about Arkansas, being from Florida, living so long in Florida. I was actually a welder, iron worker in Florida for a long time, working in Miami and everything else. And it's hot. It's hot. The humidity is insane. But I was shocked at how hot and the humidity here in Arkansas is. I mean, it rivals Florida, if not beats Florida a lot of times.
yeah, it just kind of, I think this whole uh, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Tennessee, it just kind of sits in a bowl there. We get
Yeah.
this horrible, horrible humidity and it just sits there and it's just oppressive. You can't do anything. So, yeah, takes some
Yeah.
getting.
It's similar to Florida, but with seasons. And that's kind of what I was wanting with seasons, because there is no season in Florida.
Yeah, yeah. So you're going to have cattle. You want to get Highland cattle up by the where you deer hunted the first time you deer hunted out there.
Yeah, the power lines in that area I just cleared out with a dozer last year will be
Yeah,
part of it. It's basically going to be like a T. It's going to come up towards the cabin, but once it gets out to the power lines, it's going to go down the power lines on both directions, which would be like a T. I
yeah,
want to bring it this way just to make watering and feed and stuff like that a little easier, because all of the water and stuff's here.
yeah,
It
yeah.
ended up being about 5.5 to 6 acres will probably be the
Oh,
pasture right there. And if I ever need more, I can go back into the hunting woods a little bit as well, because I have 10 acres back there too. I'll end up fencing some of that off just for shade, so they got a place to escape. But I don't want to go too deep in it right now without it being clear, just because of all the predator pressure that we have around here. Because I got all the things, I got bears and mountain lions and cougars and coyotes and wolves, and I got all the things up here.
yeah. You probably. Oh, yeah. We don't have that here. So coyotes. But what was I guess? What are your plans with the cabin? I've been dying to ask you this.
Yeah. Well, this year, here in a couple of months, we're about to tear it apart. I'm
Are you
tearing
going
the
to
roof
tear it
off.
all apart, or are you just going to take out the bad beams, or
No, I'm
jack?
tearing the roof off, the loft out, this wall right over here that's rotten. The whole front wall is coming down, the loft's coming down, the roof's coming down. And then I'm going to expand 15 foot all the way around the cabin.
Yeah.
I'm changing the pitch of the roof instead of being east west to north south for solar. And it's basically going to go from about 480 square feet to a total of under roof, about 2,600 square foot. Now, that's
Wow.
not all going to be insulated, because part of it's going to be outdoor kitchen and porches and stuff like that. But yeah, it's about to go through a major transformation. The three walls that it will be standing when I tear it apart will actually be the interior walls of the new cabin. They'll be
Okay.
like featured walls, because it's so far gone that it would cost a fortune to make it structurally sound like it needs to be, and also insulated properly and all of that other stuff. It's better to just turn the three walls into an interior wall where they don't have no structural loads, and they're perfect for interior walls. You
Mhm.
can have a little bit of air seepage in between rooms and stuff, on the inside. You can't really have that outside when it's, -1 degrees outside.
So you're going to be framing out the exterior first, then, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I'll pour the slabs, and then I will take it apart, or I might take it apart and then pour the slabs, because the whole point of me adding that bedroom onto the tiny house is because I'm going to move in there and I'm going to gut the cabin 100%. I'm going to store everything at my shop and barn at the other property, and that way this is going to be a full-blown construction site until it's done. It's going to take me about 2 years to finish, which puts me on the schedule that I gave myself when I got here. My goal was to have the cabin done within 5 years, and I've been
Hmm.
there 3 years as of last week. So I figure it's going to take me about 2 years to get it completely done. So I'm right on schedule, actually.
Is that something that you learned when you were young, how to do construction, or did you learn it just doing it,
Um,
or how'd you learn it?
well, I was an iron worker welder for many years. I owned a steel company for a long time. I was an iron worker before that. And me and my brother started a steel company in Tampa and grew it to a pretty good sized company. And then when the recession in '08 happened, I lost everything. Um, I was the picture of what that recession did. Like I lost my house, I lost my businesses, everything. And I tried to stay on because we had 78 employees working, you know, 6, 7 days a week. And
Wow.
I tried to hang on for like a year and a half longer than I probably should have, just trying to keep my core guys, the guys that's been with me from the beginning, going and making sure they could take care of their families. And I lost a fortune. And I should have pulled out honestly earlier, but hindsight's 2020, right? Um, Everything happens for a reason.
It really does,
So,
huh?
huh?
That it really does.
Yeah.
Now you
And
now
during that time that I had the steel company, I actually started a home renovating company as a sister company to it. So whenever we had downtime, we could go and work like home renovation stuff just to keep money coming because construction's hot and cold sometimes, right? And it started out with me just over there at a buddy's house, just replacing some sliding glass doors. He had 4 sliding glass doors and he lived in the suburbs. And I was changing that, and the neighbor came over, "Hey, can you fix the soffit?" And I was like, "Sure." So I went and fixed the soffit and just kind of learned that as I went. And then once I became a homeowner, I flipped houses and stuff. I'd buy the oldest, ugliest house on it and then remodel it for 5 years, and then we'd sell that one and we'd buy the next one that was a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer, but still the ugly duckling, and just kind of did that as well. And also, I spent 8 months in Job Corps and carpentry as well. So that's kind
wow,
of where my building stuff came
you
from.
really are a jack of all trades, huh? You have a lot of experience in a lot of different areas. That's really good to have, especially when you're out there on the homestead by yourself.
Oh yeah, you got to be out here. You don't really have to know how to do everything. You just got to be not scared to try.
Exactly.
Especially with technology, with the what we're on right now. I call it no tube. It knows everything. So if you do enough digging, you can find. And I'm the type of person, if I can see somebody do it, I know how to use most of the tools and all that other stuff pretty well, so I can do it.
Yeah.
I just, even if I don't know how to do it, I'm definitely not a master of any of it. I would say about the only thing I would claim to be a master at is steel and welding, because I did it for so many years and hold a lot of certifications and stuff like that. Everything else, just a jack of the trade. Just
Well, you do a great job at it.
thank
You
you.
do a great job.
And I'm
And
constantly learning.
yeah, and that's what, you know, I love YouTube because you can learn anything from YouTube. I've learned everything yeah, pretty much everything of the things that I do now from YouTube. Um, not from college. I have
Yeah.
two masters, and I didn't learn how to do any of the things
I
that I
got
do.
8 years of school and I didn't learn nothing. It goes so fast, you don't have time to retain anything. You learn what you learn in the trade. And when I shut down that sports bar, that's when I went to school. And I didn't get my GED until I was like 32 years old. Like I did everything I did up to that point without a high school diploma. But my daughter was going into middle school, and I'm always preaching education and didn't have one. And like I said, I'm one of the ones that like do as I do. So I actually pulled into the college that I ended up working for and graduating from. They had free GED testing, and that's kind of how my college career started, because um, I went to walk because my mom always wanted to see me graduate and walk, and they had the thing where I could go and get the gown and walk. And I was there that night, and there was a bunch of people in the front with ribbons and tassels, and I had none. And I asked them, why do they got tassels and ribbons? And I'm just sitting here with a gown. And they said, well, they graduated with honors. And I was like, what is that? I didn't know what that was at the time. And they told me. And so at dinner that night, I told my parents, and my wife at the time and kids. I said, I'm going to college. And they was like, you ain't going to college and all this. I said, no, I'm going to get some ribbons. They thought I was joking. A year later, I started school, and I was in school for almost 8 years. And I started working for the college simultaneously as a work study. I started at part-time minimum wage as a step and fetch for the IT department to try to get experience in IT as I was getting my degree, because every job listing I seen 2 years experience mandatory, and I'm like, well, I'm older. I don't have time to get the degree and then go try to get you. I need to do it. And that started me working for the college until I moved to Texas there. So, and worked my way up through the ranks there.
Very impressive. Very impressive. I bet your family's very proud of you.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I would have never thought, and all the construction people that I work with, my brother told them, oh, yeah, he turned into an IT nerd. They're like, what? I would have never dreamed it, but I had a passion for it and I was actually good at it because if I take something apart, I can put it back together. I'm just one of those ones, and it just kind of fit. And I kind of cut my teeth in IT and hardware and kind of went from there. And I just enjoyed IT because with doing the steel company for so long, you start at one end and you end at the other. There's not a lot of surprises in between. It's basic, building a building is building a building. And IT, like right now, I haven't been in the IT industry in 2 years. I'm so far behind right now. It would be so hard for me to step back into where I was. I'd have to kind of relearn everything. So I always enjoyed that because I like to learn.
Thank you, Coach Jim. I appreciate that. If you haven't yet hit the like button, please hit the like button and show everyone how much you like having David here on the show tonight, because he's been a real blessing to come on, and he doesn't know me from Adam. So, I'm just some.
No, I answered a random email.
Got a YouTube channel, Our channels are entirely, even though we're both homesteading channels, he has truly mastered YouTube in the sense for a homesteading channel. He's gotten a lot of gets a lot of views on his videos, and he's got some really great videos. And so make sure, if you haven't subscribed to him, go over there, check him out and subscribe.
Honestly, that's a credit to all of my great subscribers, because I got really, really good subscribers that are really connected and engaged and going through this journey with me. So that kind of makes why I feel like I do as well as I do. But there's always improvement, and I'm a very small fish in a very big pond. So
well, we all are.
The main thing is just I enjoy doing it. I love it. I love the interaction. I love all the interaction with the subscribers. I can ask, what are we going to name this pig shelter out here? And I get all kinds of feedback, and they teach me a ton, a lot of stuff. So I love it.
I'll tell you, I had two initially. It was Simply Jan and Gail Southern Homestead. They just kind of pushed me in because I was scared to death,
I've been following both of them for a long time.
I'm so grateful to them. And if you haven't subscribed to their channels, make sure you do, because they're just, they just want to help people. I mean, they really want to help people, and just great people. All the people that I've met on YouTube have been really great, and I'm truly grateful. So
Jan's my kind of crazy.
Oh, Jan.
I love Jan.
Yeah, I love Jan too. Jan is hosting the meetup at Palmdale Terrace State Park on June 6th through 8th. And Gail and I are going to be co-hosting it. So if you're interested, make sure you make your reservations now. And it'll be a lot of fun. There's going to be karaoke and a giveaways, and of course, food and jam contest and a whole lot of fun. So
Sounds fun.
yeah, so it's
That was one of the biggest things for me that I didn't know about YouTube when I started. I don't think nobody does.
is the
The
meetup.
community aspect of it,
Oh yeah,
the friends and the family, like literally all the people that I am very close with in my life right now, I have met through YouTube in one shape or form.
exactly.
It's insane. I would have never guessed that. And then also helping people. You know, I get so many emails of my story touching people and stuff like that, and that just it means the world to me if I can help anybody. So yeah, y'all know that I like to help as many people as I can help. I'm always willing to help. So
Well, we just thank you for your channel and I wanted to say, well, thank you everybody. Yeah, there's going to be karaoke.
I
So,
can't sing. I'll
but
sound like a hound dog was stuck in a trap. I'm telling you, it's bad. It's bad.
but you know, it's fun. It's fun. There'll be a seed giveaway table or a seed swap table, not a giveaway table. But there's a lot of people coming, I think. I don't know how many are coming now, but maybe a lot more now. I don't know. Anyway, if you have any questions, though, contact myself or Simply Jan Homestead or Gail Southern Living, and we'll give you all the information. I just don't have it on the top of my head because I'm not good at remembering stuff like that. I have to write it down. But I want to say thank you again, David, and
You're
I
welcome.
totally appreciate you coming in. Thank you all that came in the chat tonight. I'm truly grateful. I hope you go, Fallon, to the meetup. You guys have been great, and I'm sorry I couldn't get to you all. I'm just not fast enough. I think David and Mike go through it a lot faster. They're able to get them all.
Well, it gets no, we don't get them all. This jerker starts bouncing. Once it starts getting up there, we do the best that we can. And speaking of that, everybody that did join that came over and streaming it from my channel right here, thank you very much. I appreciate it. This was kind of fun. I went into this blind, guys. I had no idea what I was going to be questioned.
You know,
There's
now.
nothing there's nothing scripted. I had no idea what and she hit me with the childhood right off the rip too. Did y'all see that, guys? Crazy. Crazy.
That's
But
what this show's about.
yeah, just right into the childhood like but it was fun. And we had to work for this one. This is actually the second date that we picked.
Yeah.
Because the last time I was supposed to go do this, I was actually buried in my brand new truck out there at my nephew's property, getting towed out by a wrecker. So thank you for rescheduling with me, and I apologize that I missed the
Well, I
first
so appreciate you
meeting.
coming back. I saw the picture you sent me of you being buried, and I was like, "Oh no, your brand new truck." Yeah,
Yeah. Hey, it's a game plan, not a set plan, right? Come on.
exactly, exactly. Well, if you have something else you want to say, David.
Nope. Thank you. Make sure y'all go to the meetup that she's been talking about. If one of the moderators can put it into the chat so everybody can find it a little easier, that'd
Put
be
that in
awesome.
there for everybody. Jan will probably put it in, or we have Jan and we have Jennifer. So if Jan could put that in, or Jennifer put the meetup in there, that'd be great. She said you did a great job, David.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You really did. You really did. So let me see if she's
I'm
got.
not scripted anyways. Even if you would have sent me questions, I wouldn't have read them. I like to be authentic and real. So Tim
Yeah.
interviewed me one time and tried to send me questions. I said, save them, just shoot it. Let's see what happens.
There it is. Yeah, the Pomme de Terre State Park. It'll be June 6th through the 8th. So Simply Jan Homestead, if you just Want to come? It's a lot of fun. I think
What's
the
the
first
dates on that again?
June 6th through the 8th.
I won't make that one.
Yeah.
I got to go May 31st to the 5th to the Keys for my brother's 50th birthday.
Oh, wow. That'll be fun. That'll
Oh,
be
yeah.
Well, just spread the word. So we want to get a good crowd and get to meet all of you. I mean, that's the cool thing, is being able to meet you all and spend some time with you and the people that we see on the chats and stuff. And we never get that opportunity, very seldom, to ever meet them. And so we have that opportunity to meet you.
Hang out like a hare and a biscuit.
Well, I want to thank you again, David, and
You're welcome.
you just keep on what you're doing, because it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. That's the plan. I'm going to keep on chugging along.
And now we're not strangers, so
Nope. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
It was fun. And I'm going to end it here with an outro song, because I like to do these little songs.
Nice.
Yeah. So here we go.
All right.
No joke. I just growed a beard. In real life. No joke. I growed a beard.
Hey guys, it's Reese here again.
I like all those turtles from our pond. I wasn't going to cry.
And I am toy hunting.
And welcome to my channel. Here at the Ozark YouTube Scrap